Little Cup is a tier like no other, because unlike in OU, where all of your Pokemon are level 100, in the Little Cup, all of your Pokemon are level 5. Now, you're probably thinking, why is that such a big deal? Well, it's because all of your Pokemon having such low stats actually makes a huge difference when trying to EV your Pokemon. So today I'm going to teach you how to EV your Pokemon in the Little Cup. The first thing you're going to notice in the Little Cup is the amount of EVs needed to increase a stat. In OU, you just add 4 EVs to a stat and it increases by 1 point. You add another 4 EVs to that stat and it increases by another point. So every 4 EVs you add to a stat, you get 1 extra point to that stat. In Little Cup, however, you actually need 80 EVs to increase a stat by 1 point. So for example, you add 80 EVs to its attack, it increases by 1. You add another 80 EVs to its attack, it increases by 1 again. Well, there's one exception. The amount of EVs needed to add the first point to a stat depends on the last digit of that stat. That may sound confusing, but let me explain. So for example, if your HP is 50, the last digit of that stat is 0, so you're going to need 36 EVs. If your special attack is 46, the last digit is 6, so you're going to need 68 EVs to increase that stat by 1. After you've increased a stat for the first time, then every time you want to increase it again after that, you're going to need 80 EVs and 80 EVs again. So that's how you add EVs in Little Cup. Alright, so now I'm just going to give you some tips on EVing in Little Cup. So in the Little Cup, if you're using a Pokemon with a Life Orb, like for example this Meowth, it's actually better to decrease its HP IVs because of the Life Orb. Because Life Orb makes you lose 10% of your max HP every time you attack. So if you have 20 HP, then you lose 2 HP because 10% of 20 is 2. But if you decrease your HP IVs, you actually have 19 HP. So 10% from 19 is 1.9. But everything in Little Cup, well, everything in Pokemon rounds down. So that 1.9 gets rounded down to 1. So you actually end up taking 1 damage from Life Orb instead of 2, which actually increases your survivability by a lot. So that's a good tip to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind while EVing Pokemon in Little Cup is if you have a Pokemon with Eviolite, which if you don't know, Eviolite increases your special defense and defense number by 1.5, then you want that your special defense and defense number to be an even number. Because let's say your special defense is 10, 1.5 times 10 is 15. If you increase that to 11, then that's 11 times 1.5 is 16.5, which rounds down to 16. But if you increase it again, then it becomes 12, which 12 times 1.5 turns into 18. So you go from 15 special defense to 16 to 18. So if you have an even number, so from 11 to 12, then that spikes, you get 2 extra defense because it's an even number. So you kind of want to make sure that your defense number and special defense number is even if you have Eviolite, because then you just get better value. Another good thing to keep in mind is if you have a belly drum Pokemon, then you want to make sure that, well, it's not really that big of a deal, but you don't really, if you can do anything about it, you don't really want your HP to be an even number, because if you have belly drum, it halves your HP after you use it. So for example, if your HP is 27, 27 divided by 2 is 13.5, which rounds down to 13. So after using a belly drum, you are left with 14 HP. If you increase your HP though, then you have 28 HP. 28 divided by 2 is 14. So after using a belly drum, you're left with 14 HP, which is the same than if you had 27 HP. So basically, if you use belly drum and you have an even number of HP, you're just losing more HP. So just better not to increase your HP then, because you're just basically wasting the HP. Also, if you have a Pokemon substitute, then you want to make sure that the HP number is not divisible by 4. Is if you have an HP number that's not divisible by 4, like 27, 27 divided by 4 is 6 point something. But if you have 28 HP, then 28 divided by 4 is 7. So after using a substitute, if you have 27 HP, 27 minus 6 is 21. But if you have 28 HP and you use a substitute, then you actually are left with 21 HP after using the substitute. So again, you've basically just wasted those IVs, because after using a substitute, you're at the same HP, but you've still invested those HP EVs, but you've not gained anything. So it's better not to, because it's a waste of EVs. So another tip is if you have a Pokemon with Recover, but this counts for like any move that heals your HP by 50%, like Wish, Roost, anything that heals your HP by 50%. You want to make sure that that your HP number is even, because if your HP is, for example, 25 and you heal half of that, that's 12 and a half, which rounds down to 12. But if you increase your HP, then you actually have 26 HP, which means that you heal 13 HP, so you actually heal an extra HP every time you use Recovery, which obviously increases your survivability by a lot. And also, this is just a small tip, but make sure that if you're EVing a Pokemon, then like, just make sure you use all of the EVs. Like, just drag all the boys, and ooh, look, I can actually have an extra speed here that, you know, it's just free speed. Like, when I was making the video where I used my subscribers' teams, there were a lot of teams where like, oh, I noticed this Pokemon still has a lot of EVs left over. I wonder if I can still just put an extra EV, some extra points in like attack or defense or something. And a lot of the times I could actually just have an extra stat there. So make sure that when you think you're done with the build and you still have some extra EVs left over, just even if they're 8, just make sure to like always drag the boy to see if it, you know, will give you an extra point, because sometimes you can't just get an extra point and you didn't know it. So definitely just make sure to do that. Alright, so one last thing to consider when EVing a Pokemon is, if your Pokemon has Regenerator, which every time you switch out, you heal 1/3 of your max HP, you want to make sure that your HP number is divisible by 3. Because, for example, if your HP number is 21, like it is right now, then 21 divided by 3 is 7. So when you switch out, you heal 7 HP. If you increase that and you have 22 HP, 22 divided by 3 is 7 point something, rounded down to 7, you still heal 7 HP when you switch out. 23, same thing, only heal 7 HP. But 24 divided by 3 is 8. So when you switch out, you heal 8 HP. And yeah, that was basically it. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like and subscribe. And if I missed anything, please leave it in the comments, and maybe I'll make a part 2 of this video if I missed a lot of things. And also, if you guys enjoyed this video, then, you know, if you enjoy, you know, me making videos with a mic, then definitely just say that in the comments. But if you prefer my regular videos, then also just say that in the comments. You know, I'm just kind of experimenting with a new type of video here. Usually, you know, this is the first time that I am using a microphone in a video. Usually I just play games and then, you know, add text over it. So yeah, I'm kind of experimenting, and if you guys enjoy videos with a mic, then definitely leave that in the comments too, saying that you enjoyed it. Or if you just don't want me to use a mic again, then also just say, hey, I prefer your regular videos, and I'll continue doing those too if more people enjoy my regular videos. So yeah, that was it. See ya.